Hello everyone, Richardson here. And I love fish. I always wanted to be a marine biologist at some point, but that never went through with anything. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Item number SCP-6222. Restriction level, level 3, confidential. Containment class, esoteric. Secondary class, formal. Disruption class, dark. Risk class, warning. Special containment procedures. SCP-6222 and the surrounding park have been acquired and converted into Foundation Outpost 384. High priority containment cells are to be monitored at regular intervals. Signs and maps have been installed in explored sections of SCP-6222 for ease of navigation. Investigations into the possible identity of the ownership of the facility are ongoing. Description: SCP-6222 is a facility with an anomalously large non-Euclidean interior and a large sign on its exterior labelled Fish Prison. The vast majority of the rooms and layout of SCP-6222 heavily resemble baseline prison complexes and containment zones in Foundation sites, with a notable exception of inoperative lighting systems. Due to potential safety hazards, and for ease of access, light fixtures have been installed in explored sections of SCP-6222. All containment cells within SCP-6222 hold at least one instance of marine life, designated as an SCP-6222-1 instance. Contrary to the sign outside SCP-6222, not all SCP-6222-1 instances are fish. See Addendum 6222.1. A placard can be found on or around each cell, containing documentation regarding their respective SCP-6222-1 instances. The cells themselves appear to be thaumaturgically reinforced by poorly understood manifolds, which has hampered attempts to intentionally breach SCP-6222-1 instances for testing purposes. Despite the absence of liquid water in these cells, SCP-6222-1 instances can emulate aquatic locomotion to aerially mobilize themselves. It is unclear whether this is an intrinsic property of SCP-6222-1 instances, or simply a secondary effect of SCP-6222. Likewise, all SCP-6222-1 instances do not require nutrition, produce excreta, undergo senescence, nor exhibit any anomalous behaviour outside what is considered normal for their respective species. Addendum 6222.1 SCP-6222-1 documentation. The following is an excerpt from SCP-6222-1 documentation logs. The text on each cell's placard, and additional notes, where applicable. Species: 1 Palinurus meritinicus, pink spiny lobster. Crime: cannibalism. Notes: SCP-6222-1 instance lacks several limbs. The shells of several other pink spiny lobsters were also observed in the cell. No other cell contains deceased SCP-6222-1 instances. Species: 8 Cyanea capillata, lion's mane jellyfish. Crime: assault, first-degree murder, illegal firearm possession, terrorism. Notes: at least 4 personnel have spat in the direction of the cell since its discovery. SCP-6222-1 instances under investigation for potential memetic influences. Species: 1 Homorus gammarus, European lobster. Crime: hate speech. A post-it note was found on the placard, labelled, "This one's a racist, Jim." Species: 2 Fractocephalus hemialeopterus, red-tail catfish. Crime: identity theft. Notes: individuals within close proximity to the cell may experience temporary TIE amnesia. Total identity expungement, where the affected individual is incapable of recalling their identity or personal memories. Species 1 Ostphronemus gourami, giant gourami. Crime, drunk driving, Grand Theft Auto. Notes, not applicable. Species 1 Nemateliotis magnifica, fire goby. Crime, arson. Notes, 6 documented cases of spontaneous combustion in items near the containment cell, including paper documents, a camera, the cell placard, and a researcher's lab coat. Species 3 Anomalocaris canadensis. Crime, assault, battery, disruption of public order. Notes, cell located directly across cell containing trilobite SCP-6222-1 instances. Due to the hostility displayed by contained SCP-6222-1 instances towards each other, a barrier has been erected to obstruct line of sight between the two cells. Species 4 Paradoxidis paradoxissimus. Species of trilobite. Crime, assault, battery, disruption of public order. Notes, cell located directly across cell containing Anomalocaris SCP-622-1 instances. Due to the hostility displayed by contained SCP-6222-1 instances towards each other, a barrier has been erected to obstruct line of sight between the two cells. Species 1 Baphinomus decempspinosus, giant isopod. Crime, assault, battery, first-degree murder, theology. Context unknown at this time. Notes, a perimeter of 1 meter has been set up around this cell. SCP-6222-1 instance anonymously stabbed and incapacitated 2 Foundation personnel that stood too close to the cell prior to this. Species 1 Homo aqueous finfolk. Crime, criminal trespassing. Notes, SCP-6222-1 instance resembles Australian Prime Minister Harold Holt. Instance appears sapient, but does not respond to any attempts at communication. Species unknown, see notes. Crime, assault, first-degree murder, vandalism. Notes, SCP-6222-1 instance initially thought to be a giant squid until adequate lighting conditions revealed that the tentacles originated from the mouth of a larger entity, resembling Chitohinus maximus, basking shark. Species not applicable, see notes. Crime, involuntary manslaughter, vandalism. Notes, containment cell occupied by metallic debris, identified to be from the deorbited Mir space station. Species unknown. Crime, assault, first-degree murder, vandalism. Notes, SCP-6222-1 instance appears to be a small fish, despite the dimensions of its cell being many times greater. Investigations ongoing. Species unknown. Singular instance resembling an oarfish with 9 human heads. Crime, voluntary manslaughter, vandalism, genocide, high treason. Notes, SCP-6222-1 instance held within a large cage at the centre of a large chamber. Ongoing investigations have been hampered due to the chamber being saturated with ammonia gas expelled from the instance. Individuals outside the chamber door report hearing vocalizations coming from the SCP-6222-1, which have been identified as pleas for mercy in Old Chinese. Species unknown, see notes. Crime, voluntary manslaughter, vandalism, genocide, deicide. Notes, instance possesses cognitohazardous and antimemetic properties that prevent visual identification. Filtered images infer that the SCP-6222-1 instance is over 100 meters in length and possesses a pentaradially symmetrical body plan. Instance has also been observed to passively emit large amounts of elan vital energy. Species: not applicable. Crime: apotheosis. Notes: cell appears empty despite being the largest discovered within SCP-6222, measuring about 500 meters on each side. Trace amounts of compound Y909 present in cell. Investigations ongoing. Discovered by Dr. Wong. Date: 20th of the 9th, 2021. Species: 163 Pygocentrius natureri, red piranha. Crime: tax evasion. Notes: multiple documented cases of receipts disappearing from the wallets of personnel within the vicinity of the cell. Species: unknown. This has been stricken from the record. 1. Ornithocinus anatinus, platypus. Crime: impersonation. Notes: SCP-6222-1 instance was unidentifiable during initial discovery due to cognitohazardous effect that rendered observers incapable of perceiving said instance as a mammal nor a platypus. Instance was later properly identified via photograph. Species: unknown. 3 cetacean entities. Crime: assault, domestic violence. Notes: SCP-6222-1 instances were sapient and capable of telepathic communication. Instances could not perceive nor communicate with observers, instead discussing about various mundane topics in Ionic Greek. Discovered by Dr. Rallison. Date: 20th of the 9th, 2021. Species: Odontodactylus scilarus. Peacock mantis shrimp. Crime: aggravated assault, possession of an illegal firearm. Notes: SCP-6222-1 instance has their front limbs taped together via what appears to be duct tape. Species: 2 Neoclinus blancardi, sarcastic fringehead. Crime: aggravated assault, harassment. Notes: SCP-6222-1 instances are held in 2 separate containers. Instances are heard barking at one another regardless. Discovered by Dr. Kelp. Date: 20th of the 9th, 2021. Species: 20 Carassius auratus, black moor goldfish. Crime: blackmail. Notes: no female instances were found inside the tank. Discovered by Dr. Ura Fish. Species: 1 Machaira nigricans, Atlantic blue marlin. Crime: impersonation. Notes: SCP-6222-1 appears severely deformed. Specimen has extremely elongated pectoral and caudal fins, and a distinct spheroid head with a strange substance resembling fur atop it. Discovered by Dr. Leroy Carlson. Date: 20th of the 9th, 2021. Species: not applicable, see notes. Crime: trespassing. Notes: cell is occupied by the partial wreckage of a modified Lockheed Model 10 Electra. Species: 5 Pagorus benhardus, common hermit crab. Crime: public nudity. Notes: instances are not carrying shells. Species: not applicable, see notes. Crime: littering. Notes: cell is very large, roughly 150 meters tall, wide and deep. Most of this volume is occupied by the prisoner, a large chunk of irregularly shaped ice, with a smear of faded red paint along one side. Species: unknown, see notes. Crime: vehicular fish slaughter, arson, assault, animal cruelty, destruction of property, breaking and entering, theft, trespassing, stalking, harassment, impersonation, public nudity, disturbing the peace, Health code violations. Littering, driving without a license. Notes.
Data expunged.
Cognitohazardous and or infohazardous properties suspected. Species 1. Homo sapiens. Human. Crime. Attempted impersonation. Notes. Instance resembles musician Paul McCartney, as he appeared circa 1966. It has several bandages wrapped around its head and seems to be comatose. Discovered by senior researcher Levine. Date 21st of the 9th, 2021. Species 4. Pygocellus antarctica. Chinstrap penguins. Crime. Armed robbery. Possession of illegal firearms. Terrorism. Theft. Vandalism. Attempted murder. Third-degree murder. Tax fraud. Tax evasion. Battery. Notes. Subject appears to be sentient. Speaks multiple languages. Subjects mostly communicate in English, although they have also been recorded speaking German, French, Russian, Hebrew, Chinese, Japanese, Swahili, and Latin, and are capable of summoning various objects via unknown anomalous means. Recorded objects include a harpoon gun, a grenade, various mints and candies of unknown branding, a bag of Cheetos, an anvil, a flamethrower, a 12-gauge shotgun, and a chinstrap penguin stuffed animal. Subjects are capable of correctly utilising any summoned item underwater, without causing damage to their surroundings, objects, or selves. Subjects frequently attempt to breach containment, although no such attempt had been successful to date. Species unknown, see notes. Crime, first-degree murder, identity theft, terrorism, treason, attempted genocide, battery. Notes. Subject appears to be an automaton resembling a Carcharodon, Carcharius, great white shark. On both sides of the object are slats that open up to release a pair of crude arms with fists. The phrase undercover Salacian pugilist machine is printed onto the back of the object. Species Cycrulus marsidus, blobfish, crime, defamation. Notes. Personnel around SCP-6222-1 cell often erupt into shouting fits directed at the anomaly. When questioned about this behaviour, personnel claim that SCP-6222-1 insulted or lied about their character or actions in some way or another, despite any and all evidence that SCP-6222-1 could not have or has not performed such actions. Species unknown, see notes. Crime, impersonation, identity theft, disruption of public order. Notes. SCP-6222-1 instance appears to be a piece of driftwood, similar in appearance to that photographed in the surgeon's photograph. Species 1 Homo sapien, human, 20 Pygocentrius naterari, red-bellied piranhas. Crime, infidelity. Notes. Human instance appears to be deceased and partially eaten, likely due to the piranhas often feeding on it. A post-it note was found by crime placard, reading, "Now he's really sleeping with the fishes." Species 1 Amphiprioninae, clownfish. Crime, tomfoolery. Notes. Personnel have reported experiencing extreme fits of hysterical laughter upon making visual contact with the subject, or coming within 5 meters of the cell. Species unknown, see notes. Crime, manslaughter. Notes. Subject appears to be a sentient and autonomous rubber duck. The cell's water appears to be contaminated with a high concentrations of soap. Species unknown, see notes. Crime, first-degree murder, theft, assassination, attempted genocide, and treason. Notes. Subject appears to be an unknown aquatic humanoid with turquoise skin and scales, gills, and fins located on the subject's forearms, calves, and back. SCP-6222-1 wears medieval plate armour and wields a longsword, both made from an unknown dark grey metal, and emit a purple glow. The back of the chest plate bears an insignia resembling a purple gauntlet surrounded by flames. Discovered by Junior Researcher Maxine K. Date 20th of the 9th, 2021. Species Unis Aphroditois, bobbit worm. Crime kidnapping. Notes not applicable. Species Architeutus ducks, giant squid. Crime aggravated assault, murder. Notes: a makeshift knife made out of a shard of glass was found near the cell of the instance covered in blood. Analysis shows it to belong to a male instance of Physeter macrocephalus, sperm whale. Species 3 Terciops, bottlenose dolphin. Crime possession of narcotics. Notes: a single Ziploc bag containing the toxins of Arathon melligris, guinea fowl puffer, was found near the cell along with another bag containing seaweed. It's worth noting that the words "no tank can fucking hold me" are scrawled near the cell. Context is currently unknown. Species unknown, see notes. Crime unlicensed tutoring, attempted genocide. Notes: the glass of this cell appears to have been broken at some point. The inside of this cell appears to have crude images of what appears to be multiple crows and octopuses engaging in a battle scrawled onto it. One octopus is depicted larger than the rest. Discovered by Dr. Akabi Hake. Date 21st of the 9th, 2021. Species unknown, see notes. Crime irrelevable. Notes: the cell has been walled off by at least 1.5 meters of concrete. All attempts to view the interior of the tank via mundane or anomalous means have failed due to probabilistic anomalies. Personnel stationed at SCP-6222 have reported feeling unusual levels of hatred and disgust when in proximity of this cell. Species Greaterland 500 Aphrododorus cyanus, pirate perch. Crimes piracy. Notes: damaged movie discs litter the bottom of the cell. Underneath the cell's placard is a paper note which reads, "Piracy is no joke, kids. Make sure you buy your movies legally, unless you want to be packed in here like sardines." The logo of Frankfurt Animation is drawn on the back of the note. Discovered by Dr. Leroy Carlson. Date 24th of the 9th, 2021. Species 3 Aftokrator stouty, Pacific hagfish. Crime witchcraft. Notes: a small cauldron sits in the centre of the cell. It has been completely filled with mucus from the instances. Species 1 Vampiroteuthis infernalis, vampire squid. Crime vampirism. Notes: the skeleton of a juvenile mola ocean sunfish has been affixed to the inside of the cell's bars with zip ties. Instance will not approach the front of the cell, remaining curled in a defensive posture in one of the back corners at all times. Species 1 Anguilla rostrata, American eel. This has been stricken from the record. Unknown, see notes. Crime lycanthropy. Notes: the bars of the cell are coated in a thin layer of silver. Instance exhibited no anomalous properties until the night of October 23rd, when it transformed into an Anaricthis oscillatus, wolf eel, for several hours before reverting to its previous appearance. Discovered by Junior Researcher Zhang. Date 26th of the 9th, 2021. Species: Amphiprione, clownfish. Crime: disruption of public order, criminal conspiracy. When subject is in direct view, individuals experience auditory hallucinations. These hallucinations resemble laughter, standard circus music, and loud applause. The phrase "property of Herman Fuller" is synthetically imprinted onto the specimen's tail. Discovered by Junior Researcher Mello. Date: 8th of the 10th, 2021. Species: unknown. Crime: jailbreak. Notes: cell is empty apart from a thaumaturgical glyph on the ground. Identification proved impossible as black tape covers large parts of the glyph. Discovered by Dr. Leroy Carlson. Date: 20th of the 8th, 2022. Species: unknown. See notes. Crime: treason. Notes: instance resembles reconstructions of Titanic Rosier. Species: unknown. See notes. Crime: unknown. See notes. Notes: instead of the typical barred door, this cell is sealed by a rusted iron door. There is a sliding panel at eye level, but it and the door have both been welded shut, and the door handle has been removed. Affixed to the door below the sliding panel is a brass plaque that reads Department of Abalones. Species: uncertain, but resembles members of the Latimeria genus Coelacanths. Crime: reckless time travelling. Notes: not applicable. Species: unknown, possibly Otodus megalodon. Crime: murder. Instance appears to be the animate, disembodied jawbones and teeth of a megalodon or other large shark. Species: Crocodilus porosus, saltwater crocodile. Crime: solicitation, public indecency. Notes: instance appears to have bright red lipstick smeared haphazardly along the edges of its mouth, and dark eyeliner applied around its eyes. Discovered by Dr. Gerald Dino. Date: 10th of the 9th, 2021. Species: Elasmosaurus platyurus. Elasmosaurus. Crime: terrorism. Notes: subject's front flippers, parts of its neck and right eye are replaced with cybernetic enhancements, resembling those commonly used by Anderson Robotics. Species: unknown. See notes. Crime: destruction of property. Notes: subject appears to be a large, red automaton, resembling a Mosasaurus hoffmanni. Mosasaurus. Every day the subject will open its mouth and repeat the phrase Prio-warriors, form Priotron, for 3 to 4 hours before ceasing activity. Context: unknown. Species: Octopus vulgaris, common octopus. Crime: copyright infringement. Notes: a clarinet can be seen in the corner of the cell. Species: Kiwa hirsuta, yeti crab. Crime: murder, poaching, torture, kidnapping, slavery. Notes: subject holds a piece of paper that reads, "We forgive you. Given choice for now, not forever. Let us crab in." Species: Plesiosaurus fungi. Plesiosaurus. Crime: illegal bounty hunting. Notes: subject has an X-shaped scar on its left eye. Species: unknown. See notes. Crime: murder and theft. Notes: subject resembles an alligator mississippiensis, American alligator, with several avian features. There is an unknown object located in the corner of its cell, which appears to be heavily damaged. Discovered by guest junior researcher Erickson. Date: 12th of the 23rd, 2021. Species Eptnopterus perii. Dwarf lantern shark. Crime: criminally negligent fish slaughter. Notes: the words, "Please let me out. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I never meant for her to die," and "I want to go home," are scrawled on the back wall of its cell. Species: unknown, see notes. Crime: assault and battery. Attempted murder. Notes: subject appears to be a semi-aquatic reptile of unknown order, with yellow-green scales, which appeared spongy in some areas, sharp bony plates instead of teeth, and flippers in the place of back legs. Species: unknown, see notes. Crime: terrorism, attempted mass murder, disrupting the peace. Notes: cell is very large, roughly 300 meters tall, wide and deep. Subject appears to be a fully aquatic reptile of unknown order with a prominent beard of fur and two large horns, one of which is noticeably overgrown and covers the subject's left eye. Subject occasionally grinds or rams its horns against the walls of its cell, possibly in an attempt to breach containment. And that is it for Fish Prison. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed all of it. I did. So I want to say thank you again to Aftokrator for this SCP. Really well done. I loved it. And I want to apologise for, firstly, it being put into 3 parts. I don't have my glasses at the moment. They broke. And glasses are expensive. So I'm having to do this in stages so I don't get too much of a headache. Go to my description for my Twitter and my Patreon if you want to support me more. And just thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe if you liked it, and goodbye.